picking up where we were last week about the Zimri. And so right after they have the instructions to go punish the people who did this, then he shows up. So the Gemara presumes that the people, his tribal people come to him and say, what? They're going to be hanging people, right? You got to get out there and stop the punishment for what we've all done, or many of us have done. Get out there and defy the orders. So, and defying the orders of whom?
Hashem.
Moshe
To the Shoftim.
Hashem. So
Right.
to Liz, welcome. We got you back in here. We just started. I
Okay.
faster than you. I'm sorry. Welcome. So that's the context that now the people say, you get out there and you stop this. What did Zimri do? Go ahead, Bobby.
But the Zimri do, he arose and gathered 24,000 people from the children of Israel and went to Cosbi, daughter of Sur, princess of Midian, and said to her, submit to me and engage in intercourse with me. She said to him, I am the daughter of a king, and this is what my father commanded me. Submit only to the greatest of them.
Pause. There was a whole plot that the Gemara presumes this whole event around the Baal Peor was a plot that was planned out to get it from the highest echelons. So the king of Midian said to his daughter, you too participate for the sake of the cause, but only
But so Zimri said to her,
hold on. But wait a second.
right.
But I want you to go out there and have intercourse with somebody, but he must be
the greatest,
from the
best.
elite, right? So he says, hey, look at me, says Zimri. Go on.
He too, referring to himself, is the head of a tribe. Moreover, he is greater than Moshe, as he is the second of the womb, as he descends from Shimon, the second son of Jacob, and Moses is the third of the womb, as he descends from Levi, the third son of Jacob.
Hey, I would be convinced about the importance of a guy when he says, I'm a descendant from 200 years ago, somebody who was important, from the second child of Jacob. It's a very unconvincing argument.
It's weak.
He is though, a tribal prince. So he isn't a nobody. He's a tribal prince. That's something. Okay, and then now what happens? He seized her.
He seized her by her forelock and brought her before Moshe. Zimri said to Moshe, son of Amram.
So firstly, our image has been they're holding hands, right? They're holding hands and they're nookie, a little kissy, right? This image is what?
Sounds coerced.
There's a coercive element here, right? There is a force,
Right.
something that's
Violent.
not
Violent.
nice, not nice.
Right.
It's not nice in the start, but now it's not nice. Worse night, even worse, right? And now what does he say? Go ahead.
Son of Amram, is this the woman forbidden or permitted? And if you say that she is forbidden, as for the daughter of Yitro, to whom you are married, who permitted her to you?
Okay, let's stop right there. That's all we need for the moment. What is Zimri's move?
He's on the attack. He's saying, look, Moshe married.
You are married to the daughter of a Midianite priest. That's who Yitro was. You married his daughter. That was okay for you, but this princess of Midian is not allowed to me. There's something here that stinks, right? So the a direct assault and a direct defiance of the orders. Now, again, Moshe got the orders from Hashem, to carry out this punishment. Moshe didn't make them up. So, firstly, does Moshe have good answers? Who permitted you to marry the daughter of a Midianite priest? Whatever. Does he have good answers? Should he have?
Well, yeah, because it wasn't just the fact that it was women from Midian. It was they seem to be engaged in idol worship, or it's a little unclear exactly what, but they're rebelling against Hashem.
There is, right. We understand Baal Peor to mean sex and defecating before the idol. Okay, that's what this Baal Peor stuff is. So I didn't do that, says Moshe. And in fact, it's true. I married the daughter of the man Yitro, who once was a priest. But point number one, according to Chazal, read the story, the daughters of Yitro are being abused at the well because Yitro had given up on his idolatry. He said, I don't believe in this stuff anymore. And because otherwise, who would abuse the daughter of the priest? Nobody does that. No one bothers the rabbi's kids, right? So who's actually be abusive towards Yisro's daughters, unless they all are angry at Yisro for giving up on the Avodah Zarah that he's supposed to be leading them in. And so Moshe said, I married somebody who had given up on Avodah Zarah. And number two, when I married her, it was before the Torah was given. So these halachas don't apply. And number three, she shows up at Har Sinai before the Torah, and we all entered a conversion process to get everybody converted. Jews, the children of Abraham became converts to Judaism, and Yisro and his family became converts to Judaism. So it's all good. And you could also say, Taka, Moshe says, I was never comfortable. I'm going to make this up, right? I was never comfortable. And that's why, one of the reasons why I haven't been with my wife for 39 years. Miriam and Aaron, talk about Moshe, that he had separated from his wife, according to the reading of Chazal. And that's because Moshe is very busy being a servant of God. But yeah, Moshe hasn't been with his wife. So he, whatever, he has lots of different teirutzim, but have to work for teirutzim for answers to shilas, to attacks. All the correct teirutzim don't matter. If you got a good attack, all the defenses don't make a difference, right? Now it happens that Moshe was actually kind of paralyzed by this. Maybe Hashem wanted him to be paralyzed, but this, he doesn't have the retort. So this man has come at him full-throated and in a way which kind of leaves Moshe stunned. Now, according to the Gemara, how many people does he gather?
Moshe or
the way that tells us, he arose and he gathered 24,000 people. Why does the Gemara pick that number?
Because hadn't it previously said that's how many died? Or
Because a few verses later, then when we read about how many people died in the Mageifa, it's 24,000 people. So we're already going to know from this that this Gemara's reading of it is that the people who died in the Mageifa aren't necessarily the people who had been actually involved in the decadent behavior. They're the ones who are involved in the insurrection that's happening now, which seeks to defy law and order and fully unravel the societal norms. Okay, that's what you've got. The Gemara goes on to say, Bobby just finishes off as well.
Pinchas came and slammed them on the ground before the omnipresident said before him, Master of the universe, will 24,000 of the children of Israel fall due to these sinners? As it is stated, and those that died in the plague were 24,000. And that is the meaning of that which is written, and Pinchas stood and wrought judgment, and the plague was stayed.
So I'm not sure what to do with how to use the pasuk here for the moment. That's how, I guess, how he davens Hashem. But basically, he says, well, 24,000 people died because of him, and Hashem's answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they will. Right. So here's where I want to take you now to this really intriguing piece of information. Let's take a look over. Let's take a look over here in Psukim. So here we are. We're in Bamidbar 25. Let's go back to. Oops, we need to get there. Let's go to Bamidbar 1. Pardon me. Online Torah, Sefaria Library, reading history. Sefaria Library. Let's do this way. Tanakh. Midbar. Okay, I think it's in Perek Aleph. We're counting people. Don, Ash. Oh, is this skip it already? We had the families. Oh, okay. Hold on.
Shimon.
Here we go.
That's Shimon.
The nation mounted the time from time to time good time especially medical time calls the children of Shimon in the first year in the desert, in the wilderness, there are 59,300 people in the tribe of Shimon. It's a nice, respectable number. Right, okay. We now come to our next parak, a continuation of the parak, excuse me. We take a this is actually in Chaf Vav. We take another count. Ruvain, fine. Korach, fine. Uvnei Shimon mishpachatam, well, we meet their people. Bachad, fine. And the Mishpachot Shimonish 9,000 there are 22,200 people, members of the tribe of Shimon in the year 40 in the desert.
37,000.
What? There are 22,000 people when there are 59,000 people. This is not natural growth. Something is radical must have happened, right? Let's take a look at here. I grabbed somebody's chart. Here we go. This is the change in population from the first to second census. S Ruvain Shimon. Okay, God. Shimon. Now everybody else, okay, these are some semi-significant changes, but they're all growth. Here are small reductions. This is a huge reduction in number. Oh my God. The tribe has been decimated. Says Rashi. Liz, you want to read the Rashi?
Sure. According to the deficiency that shows itself in the tribe of Shimon in the census, as compared with the first census in the wilderness of Sinai, it would appear that all the 24,000 who died of that plague must have fallen from the tribe of Shimon. It's
just it's Rashi's conclusion, right? For this 37,000, whatever the number is, right? Total, reduction in number. We need a cataclysmic event to make up for most of that number. And Rashi says, yeah, they must have been the 24,000. That's the Gemara statement. The Shimonites are the ones who say, get out there. They're the one they gather around. They're a part of it. They get decimated. Wow. What do we know about the tribe of Shimon and the rest of Tanakh? Not much. I'm sure there's a shofet. I didn't pay attention. I didn't go say for shofet. They must get a shofet, right? Where is Shimon situated? Anybody know? In the map, the grand map of tribes. They're tucked in south of Yehuda, in the Negev. Okay, that's where they are. So I think, and maybe this has been recorded. I could be totally wrong, but our thing about the 10 tribes and the 12 and the 2 tribes, right? It's not really true. There are really only 9 tribes up north, and 2 tribes is Yehuda and Binyamin, and basically Shimon, who are almost inconsequential. I think that's true. So it's just they really they're wiped, and they never really rebound. So yeah, so that's piece number 1. Piece number 2, who is it that will stand up to stop Zimri from what he's doing?
That's Pinchas. So
it's Pinchas. Let's just read for a moment what happens, and then we're going to spend more time on Pinchas next week. Yeah, hold on, don't get dizzy. Vayar Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. He sees, he arose from amongst the assembly and he took a spear in his hand. And he came behind the man to his chamber and he stabbed the 2 of them, the man of Israel and the woman in her vagina. And through this, the plague was ceased from amongst the children of Israel. 24,000 people who died. Pinchas is the counter force to Zimri. Zimri is the acts rashly and impetuously to in an act of defiance, and Pinchas acts to a certain degree impetuously in an act of devotion. Right? So I want to spend a few minutes. It actually something, a piece of Torah that years ago, I'm sure he wasn't the first person to think of it, but if it did, it's great to speak Grummet, a father of mine, to sort of go back in time and remind ourselves a little bit about Shimon and Levi. And what do we know about Shimon and Levi? What's the most famous or infamous act of Shimon and Levi?
The Dina story.
The Dina story.
Right, they go and kill.
So let's go there. Let's go there. Dina goes out to see what's going on. Shechem ben Chamor, rapes her, right, and forces himself upon her. Then he is, infatuated with her. It's not really love; it's infatuation with her, and he wants her. And so he goes. His daddy comes with him, and they go and they try to convince the family of Yaakov that. He should give it to her as a daughter, give her to him as his wife. Okay, and of course, Bnei Yaakov, they're very, very angry, the other brothers. This is a terrible, it's an outrage what has happened, that someone should sleep with the daughter of Yaakov. This should not be done. So they have all the plan. We'll all marry. Isn't it wonderful? We'll marry amongst you. You marry amongst us. What a fantastic thing. What's the deal that they say? What's the condition? If you will agree to all have a circumcision, then we'll do it. Right? So presumably the ones who suggested it thought that would be a deal breaker, and they'll say, "Oh, fine, have your daughter back, goodbye." But they agree. And so, right, what happens on that third day after they are circumcised, when they are biotam koavim? Hold on, don't get dizzy. It was on the third day when they were really ailing. Each one of them, Shimon and Levi, brothers of Dinah, each one took his sword. And they come to the city in secret. They translated molested or secretively. Yagu calls Achar, and they kill every male in the city. And they kill Chamor and Shechem. They take Dinah back. And the rest of the brothers come. Now they got to finish this off, because it's once you've done this, you got to finish it. And they take the plunder, etc., etc. Vayomer Yaakov el Shimon ve'el Levi. Yaakov says to the two boys, "Achartem oti lavisheni b'yoshev haaretz." You have made me odious. That's a great word to use. You made me odious to make me again disgusting to the inhabitants of the land. Ani mete mispar. I'm only a small number. See, this is a terrible thing. Now they're going to come and kill me. You've ratcheted this up to a nuclear war that we're fighting here, and we're not going to make it out of here. And they respond by Yimru, Hachazona Yaset Achotenu. Shall he make our sister into a whore? First, so when we read this story, what does the Torah tell us? Who's right?
The brothers, Shimon and Levi.
It doesn't say.
They have the last word, but the Torah is neutral, right? I mean, it happens in Bereshit. The Torah doesn't talk much. The voice of the Torah doesn't talk too much. But what you have here are two correct statements. Right, this is out of control act on their part, and they're right about how can we stop our daughter be made into a whore like this. So, father and children are each take their stands, and it doesn't get resolved. It doesn't get resolved, and of course it doesn't matter, because it's over. It is over, and they have to move because they're afraid. But Hashem thankfully protects them. Okay. But that's how it ends. But is it over for Yaakov? It's not over for Yaakov. We go to Yaakov's deathbed, and we see that it's not over for Yaakov. First, he's got, all his brachos, right? The brachos that he gives his children, which is just help them see and understand themselves, which is nice bracha, very nice. So Ruvain, his impetuous thing for the action that he had taken. Okay, we'll not understand that. He finishes with the Ruvain. He comes to Shimon and Levi, children 2 and 3. Shimon and Levi achim, klei chamas mecherotehem. Shimon and Levi are brothers. Weapons of tools of lawlessness. Their weapons are tools of lawlessness. Damas. Besodam al tonabon of she. In their secrets, my soul should not go. Pikahalam al techad kibodi. In their gatherings, I do not want my name, my honor to settle. Kibi apam hargu ish ubertzonami krushor. Through their anger, they killed a man, killed many men, really. And when they pleased, they named an ox. I don't know what that reference is. I didn't look at the psukim carefully, the mefarshim on that last part. They killed somebody, killed lots and lots of men, okay, in their anger and their wrath. And I understand where it came from, but in the end, it was their impetuous actions. And so I say, Arur apam kiaz, cursed be their anger, for it is fierce. Very good. It's a good Abba, right? What does he do? He curses
Their anger.
And he doesn't curse the children. He curses their anger. Your midah of anger is a terrible thing. I curse it. Bevratam ki kashata, and their wrath and their anger and their wrath, because it is relentless. Achal came b'Yaakov afitzem b'Yisrael. I will divide them up in Jacob. I will scatter them across Israel. So I mentioned already. So firstly, how will this indeed be lived out?
Well, Levi doesn't own because the Levim don't own land.
The Levim in later Torah do not receive a portion of land. They are spread across Israel. Now that is done not because, I don't know, the articulated message doesn't seem to be about Yaakov's curse. It is because Hashem says, I'm your Nachala. Right? Everybody else, Israel's your Nachala, but you, Levim, I'm your Nachala, I'm your inheritance. It's how beautiful the relationship is with Hashem. You don't need land, you got me. We'll give you town, villages and stuff, right? But okay, but it aligns with the end. It is a fulfillment of Yaakov's pronouncement here, that they are spread out. And as I mentioned, Shimon is cast off to the corner, to the southernmost place in the tribal inheritance. So what's the solution to your anger and your anger? I got to separate you two boys, right? You're sitting next to each other in class every day. There's nothing but trouble. You sit in that corner, you sit in that, you in front, you in the back. I'm separating you, separating the two of you. It's about the two of you together can do some very bad things. Okay. So the Torah goes on. Gavi, what's the face? This is
Just thinking about it.
Okay, just thinking about it.
He seems so conflicted.
The rest of the Torah is a story about whom?
Well, because chelek sometimes has a positive connotation, right? Like chelek Adonai Amo.
Yes.
So, but that's the
Oh,
word he
Achal
used.
came. You read Achal came as I'll give you a chelek versus I will be machaloketing you. I will dividing you.
I read it as conflicted, as a father who's cursing but doesn't want to curse, or or going back to the story that he understands at some level why they did what they did. He is cursing them, and yet it's trying to capture the inner conflict within Yaakov.
I know it came from a good place, but it shouldn't have been done. And it happened because the two of you put your heads together and you're like-minded in this way, and you're sort of not thinking through all the implications of the things you're going to do, right? So I can't have you two together. So if I ask you a question about, the rest of the story is about, the rest of the Torah is a story about Bnei Yisrael, but it's also a story about one tribe. Would you not agree? The rest of the Torah is basically a story about one tribe. Right? It's a story about the tribe of Levi. All the key figures in the Torah are going to be the tribe of Levi. There are other secondary players, very important players, right? But Moshe and Aaron are the key figures in the rest of the Torah. And it's a story, and then by the time you get to Vayikra, it's about the Mishkan and the Levium and the Kohanim writ large, about the way they roll, right? And everybody else, so it's a story of Levium and Levi, who is playing a very, very, very important role. Let's take it to the key. We've been comparing earlier in the Gemara compared this event to only one other event. The Peleg, Baal Peor, and what happened here is equivalent to.
I don't
The
remember.
Egel HaZahav. The Egel HaZahav. That's how this is as disastrous as the Egel HaZahav. We pay a little attention to this, but this will be in the psyche of Hashem later on. It refers back to the low points of the Jewish people. Baal Peor is there. To the Egel HaZahav. So what happens to the Egel HaZahav? Let's stay with that. Here, there's one piece that has everybody so sad. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong thing. Ignore this. Please don't look behind the curtain. Yeah, do I have? Let me see if I have it here. Hema Bochim. Let's go back to Hema Bochim. Here. Let's read this Rashi here. Gabi, you want to read it for us? They were weeping. Why were the people crying at Baal Peor?
And they were weeping. The law decision on this matter escaped him, and therefore they all burst out into weeping. In the case of the golden calf, Moses successfully resisted 600,000 men, as it is said, and he ground it to powder, and he made the children of Israel drink it. And here his hands were weak. He did not know what to do.
So let's stop right there, right? We'll deal with the Pinchas part on top of it afterwards. But clearly the Gemara, Rashi, they are thinking about the comparison to those two events. Moses came down from Mount Sinai, he was in charge, and now he's paralyzed. Back then he stopped the plague, he stopped everybody from their frenzy by taking charge, right? And everybody fell into line because of him. And because of Mila Hashem Elai, Moshe calls whoever is for Hashem, come to me. And what is the pasuk?
Okay.
And the tribe of Levi come to his side. Tribe of Levi, the only ones who are there to come to be La Hashem in the moment of the frenzy, right? So now we fast forward, and here we have Shimon and Levi. Shimon has once more. This is the thesis. The thesis is that tribal energy continues down the generations, and there's either a tikkun or there is a redoubling. That's the theory. Do I buy the theory fully? I don't know if I buy the theory fully about the energy of the tribe continues, but certainly that's a derech in learning Tanakh. Okay, so Shimon, as represented, firstly the whole tribe is pushing this. They are saying, stick it to him. We're going to get out there. We're going to defend our interests. Get out there. And so Cosby, Zimri gets out there, and here he is in his full defiant energy, just like Shimon of old, right? But it's misplaced. It's not for the honor of the sister who was raped, but for the protection of their brethren who had themselves engaged in all manner of znus, right? And comes up in response to Zimri, comes Levi and says, I'm not working with you here, right? I'm on the other side. Whatever energy you're right. It was an unbridled energy back then, and it was used in an irresponsible way. We've learned a lot over these few hundred years, right? And now we take that energy and we use it for the sake of God. And so where Shimon and Levi were once alongside each other, now Shimon versus, or Levi versus Shimon, in the way that it concludes our storyline. That's the vort for the night. I thank Rabbi Tzvi Grummet, who I think articulated it once for me, and I found it to be somewhat compelling, and so I share it with you, and in whatever variation you have. But that's the significance of one man against one man, sort of a tikkun for the Shimon and Levi. It's now these two men who embody the tribes in different ways in this moment. With that, my friends, why don't we say shkoyach, and next week our goal will be to really analyze the man Pinchas and how the Chachamim looked at this man, hero or trouble. Okay, that'll be our topic. Good.
Hey,
Good.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
So so we're gonna keep this probably closer to 8:30 next week, just because of Mincha, and then we'll have to figure out how we're gonna do the timing for this. So are you gonna be? Let me stop the recording. You're